And oh, no. We're ready. We're ready.
Yeah, we're ready.
Letter to self, Colindale Tape.
And I was like, wow, I wish I could do that. And then my godmother was like, why can't you? And I was like, oh, because I'm Asian. And she's like, oh, Thailand doesn't have any color. And I was like, whoa. You know what I mean? Like, but she doesn't sound anything like that, by the way.
Won't you stay for a while? Talking about everything else instead of how you feel and what you.
And we're here with Inderpaul Sandhu. How are you, brother?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, good. So for those of you that don't know, Inderpaul,
I'm a singer, fashion designer, I'm a rapper. Yeah, let's leave it at that.
just a threat everywhere. You've got all bases covered. So we ended up running into Inderpaul via stickers.
Wicked.
What's the sticker campaign about, bro?
It's about my latest tape, the Colindale Tape. And just on a side note, I think that's the coolest introduction I've had from an organization saying like, yo, we saw your sticker. I was like, whoa, okay, wicked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's to push the my tape, January 16th, the Colindale Tape.
Colindale Tape, that's it. It was strange because that night we'd gone out for a birthday. I think it was the day after we decided that, okay, we're going to do this, and we ran like a little pilot. So we come across, we're looking for like South Asian creatives, blah, blah, blah. Somebody stopped in Hoxton or Shoreditch, wherever it was, to tie their shoe or have a cigarette, something like that. We stopped and like we looked down and it was like your sticker was on a bollard.
Come on, I had to look into the camera for that. Come on.
It was massive. So singing, how did you get into it?
How did I get into singing? That was more of like a product of me rapping. How I got into rapping was through the church, man. You know, my pastor was doing like an outreach event for youth, for young people, and one of my best friends and also mentor, Unique Creation, he's the music man in church. So it made sense when my pastor was like, yeah, you can, you're gonna do the music, and then for some reason he came to me as well. But these times he actually had no interest, no. I'm getting excited, getting passionate because this story actually takes me back. But he didn't have the slightest idea I had any desire in music. And then before I know it, you know, I'm in the studio the next week after that, recording a song. I didn't even know how things like studio worked. I didn't know anything about the processes, but lo and behold, you know, a week later, I'm spitting bars and that's where I started rapping, right? So I'm really going hard. With that, and the week before that, I was like, oh, I hope, man, you know, I would love to do music, whatever. And then as rap continued, you know, that really built up my confidence. And then I just stepped out with the singing, ever so slightly each time, you know, to the point where I'm trying to just rock it till the wheels fall off now, man.
When you were growing up, when you were younger, like let's say your teens, did you have that vision or that idea that, okay, cool, I want to be like a creative, I want to create art, basically?
Yes and no. So yes, in the sense that it was in my head in a fantasy kind of form, but no, in the sense that, you know, this is just in my head kind of thing. I'd never get on stage. What I remember one time, I was the vice president of my college. I'm very proud of that. Come on, I'm very proud of that. But we were doing something in the canteen one time, and one of the staff told me like, yo, listen, pick up the mic real quick to say we're gonna start in 5 minutes. And bro, a breakdown of sorts that taking place in my mind. I'm like, bloody hell, I have to grab this mic. All these people's gonna look at me, blah blah blah. And you know, from that kind of, what's the word? Timidness to pick up a mic to now, it's just been just a massive jump, man.
That's wicked.
Massive jump.
That's wicked. Do you reckon it helped with your like self-confidence?
Yeah, I think more so like just being around the right people. You know, saying like, you know what, you've got something, you know, or you're all right, that kind of thing. Because there's a lot of people that if you kind of reveal what you're trying to do or you like to do, they might put you down or they might say there's nothing there, man. You're chasing a dream kind of thing. I was fortunate enough to have people around me that believed in me and nurtured me in the correct way.
Yeah. What was your? we ask this question all the time. But what was your like family or community's reaction to you coming out as a rapper, singer?
Well, my one was kind of like a double whammy, right? So my first tape, I mentioned church earlier, so I became a Christian about 9 years ago. You can only imagine what people thought about that.
Yeah.
We get to that anyway. But my first tape was not only an assertion of my creativity, but it was also an assertion of my faith, my newfound faith, in Christ. So it was just a double whammy. You got man spitting bars, and I'm trying to do the singing thing at the same time, and then I've got a bit Jesus in there as well. You know what I'm saying? Like people are looking at me like, "What the bloody hell are you doing?"
And we have lost this boy.
The papa, we have lost him. Like okay, we get it. You're a Christian. You don't need to sing about it or rap about it, kind of thing. So it was a mixed response, but I know people were messing with it because there was some quality to it, like the guy who produced my first tape was Monkstar from New Generals. That's a veteran, a pioneering grime. It's just like my path. I was aligned with certain people, that helped me put something out that was of some good standard.
Well, I was doing a little bit of research, and obviously we talked as well like, earlier on. In your short career so far, you've actually had quite a few highlights, like stuff that is, I guess, milestones, isn't it? You work with the BBC.
Yeah. So Letter to Self, Colindale Tape. Letter to Self.
Plug.
Track one. That's my 4th consecutive release. To be playlisted. Shout out to Bobby Friction. Shout out to Sonny and Shay. Shout out to BBC West Midlands. Shout out to everyone, man. Big up everyone. There's some clear people that are trying to support.
Yeah, and there was something about Pharrell in your bio as well. That was something that really, I was like, oh, we got a big fish.
Yeah, that was. Shout out to DJ Bloody Sherrod, man. He's really cool guy. He was commissioned by Adidas to make a mixtape, like a tape for their launch.
Yeah.
My song made the cut, man. My song made the cut.
Pharrell in one swoop. That must have been fucking.
Bloody hell, mate! It was. I had a couple of DMs saying like, "Yo, fam, man will buy your shoe, blah." Because people thought I had a shoe deal or something. I was like, "Nah, man. I was just spun at the joint. That'll be nice one day though, but in the future."
That's right. So it's on the way, man. It's on the way.
It's on the way.
So okay, so you're how old when you turned Christian? Let's get into the meaty stuff. Okay.
19.
So you're 19.
19, 20.
You grew up in the Punjabi community, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but even then, like the household was different. Cause my mum's Gujarati. And my dad's Punjabi, my Gujarati Hindu, my mum's Punjabi, and my dad is Punjabi Sikh. So even the two different cultures coming together, you can see that there's a difference in both their minds because people weren't really doing that. Even now, people find it hard to do that. Do you know what I mean? But they was doing that all in the back a day. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So you come out as Christian. What's the reaction?
So it's a mixed response. Yeah, very mixed response. So. I'm a mum's boy, innit? My mum is like my best friend. Like she's just great, man. That's shout out to Mrs. Sandhu. She's wicked. Me and her are close, and me and Pops. I think as I grew up, we kind of drifted a bit.
Yeah.
I say that to say, where I thought I was gonna get like accepted, or like not necessarily get much resistance, it was the opposite. So my mum was like, "What? You did what? You come out my house?" You know what I mean? Like trying to street fight me. And then my dad was like, my pops was like, well, if my son has found God, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So that really took me aback. But yeah. So it was a mixed and unexpected reaction. But really and truly, like both my parents have been to church with me. They asked me to pray for them. And so on and so forth, and that's what. And my sister's cool with it, you know what I mean. My sister's got her own relationship going on with God right now. So, and those are the main people. I could care less about what the world has to say for that. You know what I mean. It's not a religion that I've walked into. It's a relationship with God that's been birthed.
Cool. And it's weird how stuff like that works. And then from that you go into music, and obviously now it's like you're working towards the proper dream, I guess.
Well, Dying Empty, I've got that. We was talking about tattoos before the show. There's some cool tattoos in this room, I tell you. I saw Bart Simpson today, fam.
We're gonna post that on our Insta story. That's what we're gonna do. The day this comes out, we're posting that tattoo.
I didn't mean to drop you in it, sorry. I've got Die Empty tattooed across my chest, and that's because I want to die empty. I don't want to go to the grave with any form of expression, you know, kind of thing. So, again, linking it back to the God move, because it's like, it was from there that boom, 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 you know, the music kind of, well, not kind of, like, it started to manifest, you know. I always wanted to, I'm getting passionate, bloody hell, hit the
No,
mic.
do it. Fuck it.
I like going back to, you know, I said it was a fantasy, you know, growing up. So I remember like being 8 and then pretending to play Dreamer California, like that, pretending to play that Red Hot Chili Peppers Californication in my living room to like hundreds of millions of people. Do you know what I mean? And the fact that, lo and behold, now, okay, I'm not performing on that level, but I'm performing and I'm working my way towards there, you know? So
it's a good feeling, isn't it? Like, to just be a creative and like get stuff out that you want it and create something that's completely new. It's like, I always think that as well, where it's like, even if it goes somewhere or if it's shit, even if it doesn't go somewhere and it's shit or whatever, I think the whole process of just, especially coming from our backgrounds and being able to be like, actually, do you know what I'm going to do? Instead of like doing what's expected, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to write this, I'm going to get stuff out of my head. I want to build something completely new. I always think even just that process is so like fundamental, and it just gives you a purpose, doesn't it?
It's empowering. I think it's empowering because you take you take a situation, other than just sitting down there sometimes and being hit by inspiration. I feel like from the slaps that life can hand out, or that people can literally hand out sometimes. You know, you draw inspiration from those things. I think there's a multitude of things that we can draw inspiration from, but ultimately we're in full agreement in the sense it's beautiful when you can birth something, man, all in the mind, all from the mind. Even everything we see in this room, this was drawn in somebody's mind first, and then it was drawn on paper, and then it was made, kind of thing. So I think creativity from all the different kind of ways that one can create is just magnificent. I don't even use that word.
Who are your like inspiration? So we've got like Red Hot Chili Peppers and stuff. But when you really started thinking about doing stuff, who were your like inspirations?
It's forever changing because I like all sorts of music, man, all sorts. But Jimi Hendrix is definitely up there. Ray Charles, Otis Redding.
And this is what I mean. So this was so unexpected. When we saw your sticker, we were like, okay, cool. This is gonna be either a Punjabi music DJ or like just an out and out rapper. The first song we heard was Letter to Self, and it was like vibesy. It was blues. It was something so different to what we were expecting. And like even now, you listen off these inspirations. You got Ray Charles, Jimi Hendrix, and Otis Redding, arguably in 3 different genres there, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
I like that though. It's encouraging to hear that your thoughts and your feedback in that sense, because that's something that I try to play to. I do understand that somebody will see my name. The last, like I always tell this to people when I'm actually describing my sound to them. I'm like, look, you see me at the bus stop, but you never put my voice to my face, and I love that because I feel there's an element of or perhaps there's an element of underestimation in there, you know, and I like that, you know, I like that. That's more so kind of tapping into the rap, you know, backgrounds, because I remember going up to shoots. It's my video shoot, and people is all asking me, "Are you the cameraman?" Because I'm the only Asian person there. Do you know what I mean? And I can't help but think that kind of question is only posed to me on the back of my race. Sometimes it could be a genuine question, you know, but again, underestimated, and then I just spit a 32 that you weren't expecting, kind of thing. And I love that. I love that. I kind of try to harness that to my, you know, to momentum.
How important is representation then? And we were speaking about this a little bit earlier, isn't it? And I think everybody kind of knows what the answer is going to be. But in your view, what does representation do to that 12-year-old kid?
So you know what, right? So we were kind of just having a not back and forth, but yeah, we were having that to kind of just go slowly with it though. In my answer, I think it's a matter of taking a step back. What do we encourage in our young people, in our youth? You know, do we, because if we see a young person is good at this, do we encourage them? You know, like I'll speak to somebody the other day, and I was saying like we love to watch other people's kids on the movie screen. So you know, talking about Bollywood now, you know, we love to watch other people's kids, but we don't encourage our own kids. You know what I mean? Nurture this to a bit, because we and I understand it as well that there is an emphasis on security over nurturing. But if you nurture your talent, it could be nurtured into security. You know?
Yeah.
A decent living wage and so on. But I think it lies with us really. But on the back of what we tell our young people, what I then did with that was, so the story that I kind of abbreviated before. I was in my godmother's house, Joyce Auntie. Shout out to the Beckford crew. I was in her living room, and we saw. Do you remember Stars in Her Eyes?
Yeah.
Right. So I was watching that, and there was a little white kid that came on.
Tonight, Matthew.
Boom! I think his name was Matthew as well. The door turned. Boom! Came out, and then he starts singing. And they call it puppy love, you know. And I was like, wow, I wish I could do that. And then my godmother was like, why can't you? And I was like, oh, because I'm Asian. And she's like, oh, talent doesn't have any color. And I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, but she doesn't sound anything like that, by the way. But you know,
You
like,
mean your Auntie Joyce isn't a roadman?
no, not at all. But she will bad man up. So don't get it twisted. What? And her sons are all like 7 foot, fam. Alex, Brian, Roderick. I'm saying though, like that conversation with my auntie didn't actually resonate deep. I didn't fully understand it until I started pursuing music. And then it's crazy though, because I was like 10 or 12 those times. What on earth did I perceive, or what on earth did I hear and take on for truth to come out with such a thought kind of thing. So I do think the representation is important, but I think is what are we doing to empower ourselves? What are we doing to empower our young people to make a move?
Yeah, so I'm fully on board with that answer, and I think when we talk about representation, and obviously there's like a big conversation in comedy as well about who should be represented, why are there biases and stuff. And I always think, and I genuinely do think this, it comes back to you, it's about empowering, rather than just having like diversity quotas and stuff. It's about empowering people to actually, firstly, pursue it, and secondly, to work at it, to empower those people. And I think a lot of that rests on our own community, and role models helps. I definitely do think that, and I think another important section is parents and people in positions of influence in your life to be able to say, like, I'm contrary to like what most people think. My parents are pretty supportive, even though they're proper like traditional. They listen to all the podcasts. They do all of that stuff. Like they send it around to their friends.
Shout out to them. Big up Pete. You know, Preet. Well, geez, remix Pete. Yeah. Shout out to Preet's parents.
Yeah, they're like wicked. And just even that, even though obviously I'm a 26, 27-year-old dude now, you know, it's like, even if they said no, it's like, whatever. But just them being that supportive, I think actually helps. Just like, because you don't feel quite stressed. And then when I think back to I was reading an article about Southwell FC.
Right.
We need to email that guy as well, actually, the guy that runs that, because what he was saying was something similar, because there's a massive conversation going on about why aren't there as many South Asian sports people, especially when you think about the culture. Like if you think about like the Punjabi community and Sikhism and stuff, there's an emphasis on sports and being martial and doing all of that, but then that doesn't translate into modern society. And what that guy was saying was, it comes down to empowering and nurturing talent. And I think you said that, yeah, chase the dream, but nurture your talent. I think that's real fucking important.
Yeah, sorry to quickly jump in. I do. It's not that I don't understand why that our elders place an importance on security, because they know hustle, they know pain. My dad came to this country with £3 in his pocket, and when I just see what he's accomplished, a brilliant man, an excellent man. Yeah. You know, and I'm sure that's the case for all our parents in this room. You know, they came to this country and they hustled. So I understand, you know what I mean? They didn't have the, I suppose this is more like an understanding of their perspective and perhaps even fear. They don't want us to go through the hardships that they had to, kind of thing. My dad was saying now, when he came to this country, his headmaster back home was a cleaner in Goodmay's train station. But this is principal now. Like, he was a principal back home, but he's a cleaner here. No disrespect to any job role, but he's gone from one to the other, kind of thing, you know. So I do understand where it comes from, or perhaps I do understand how it can, why
that
they
anxiety.
right, correct word, even better word, yeah. But I wanted to ask this, so like, your parents are supportive. How does that make you feel?
It's real nice. It's like my dad's like probably he's like a traditional Punjabi dude. Like we don't do feelings. We don't
Come
do
on,
anything.
hard.
Now that he's like on WhatsApp, so a couple of weeks ago, we released our first episode. A couple of weeks ago, he dropped me off to the station to come in. Doesn't say anything in the like 15-minute car journey to the station. But then when I'm getting onto the train, a WhatsApp pings up, and he's like, "Oh, good luck for your podcast. I'm proud my son is a top comedian."
Jeez, what?
I'm like, bro,
You must have been smiling like a geek.
Never once has he said anything further than that. I'll send him like videos occasionally, and he'll leave me on blue ticks. But then every so often, I'll hear him on the phone to somebody, and he's like, "Huh." Then he said, "Fuck your mother," and the guy just died, and it was fucking hilarious, right? And it's good. It's a good feeling. Like it could go the other way, where it's like, or even just like today when I was like leaving home, my mom was just like, "Good luck," rather than like, imagine if it was the other way around. She's like, "Oh, fucking, you going there again?" Like you'd instantly leave the house in like a bad mood or whatever. And with that, with your parents being like, "Nah, he's doing this," nobody else says shit. Like nobody will come up to them and be like, "Oh, what's he doing?"
Yeah.
Because it's like, because they're happy with it. They're like, "Yeah, well, he's doing this, so what? Like, who cares?" But maybe it'd be a different story. Like once I decide to go like full time, no day job, comedian. Maybe then it would be a little bit different, and that insecurity will kick in. But hopefully,
You call it right though, man. You'll call it right before you take that, that move or that step.
Exactly. I'm hoping. So you mentioned hardships and stuff and influences, right? What influences your music outside of God, or like what experiences have influenced your music? Because there's definitely emotion and pain behind it.
Oh yeah. I think going back to not to not answer your question, answering it, but going back to creativity and how I just think it's amazing, man. Like the most ugliest places birth the most beautiful things. Sometimes, but Letter to Self, like with that one, if I was to talk about the pain behind that song, is like I just got caught up in writing off a whole day or like a month or excuse me, or a year, because stuff didn't happen the way I had anticipated or hoped for, or somebody said this or somebody did that or these people did this. So without getting into specifics, but I would just write off a whole amount of time, and I think it's just crazy, man, because if I was talking to somebody else, I'd be trying to be, what's the word, trying to listen to what they're saying, kind of talk them through it, show like, okay, I get it, like a practical and gentle plan to come out of the dark hole kind of thing that we can be in. And I wasn't doing that for myself, so Letter to Self, it was just a bad day and not a bad life, how bloody true is that? Because it hasn't been a bad year. It actually hasn't, nah, it hasn't. There's a whole lot worse that could have happened. Yeah, there's a whole lot good that could have happened. There's a whole lot of worse, and so gratefulness. But really, where does the music come from? Just my perspective of the pain that we go through. Like every man has a burden. Every man has a hole. Every woman has a burden. Every woman has a hole inside. Kind of thing. So it's just articulating that. It's funny though. It's like I saw a bio. I forgot what artist it is, but she said she sings about the stuff she can't talk about, and I really like that.
That's nice.
I really like that. Yeah. Track 3 on the Colindale Tape. This is not a plug. This is just track 3.
Hey man, plug away with that. The reason you were here is because of the Colindale Tape, right? And I always think that like the way you made it so easy to get you on. Like, you could have been a major dick and been like, oh yeah, nah, give me this or give me that, or like, nah, you guys are too small rent. And it's like, nah, we genuinely loved your music, so just plug away, man. There's gonna be links everywhere. There's gonna be links all over our fucking shit.
Please
Descriptions.
do the clicking.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like, you're independent as well, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sorry,
Track.
I just cut you off.
No. I appreciate that what you were saying though. It further articulates your posture towards me and what I do. So I appreciate that. Track 3 though, like I start the song by saying, it's much easier to put it. It's hard to put it into words outside of a song, you know. And it's that it's a really good release.
Yeah.
And therapy even.
It's strange because like I genuinely have no musical sense whatsoever. Like I'm so tone deaf that my ringtone is off key. Right? I'm like that. Like I'm just fucked. I can't play an instrument, can't sing, nothing. But at the same time, I fully appreciate that. Like I went through a breakup recently. I didn't talk to people about it, but it was easy to write jokes about it.
Come
like,
on, this is it. Come on.
So I've got that. I've got that like shared experience, and I think artists in general have that.
Could I hear one?
Oh, bro! I didn't say they were good jokes. they were pretty fucking bad. But essentially, the story, like I whip it into a story about how like you go to New York to go win this fucking girl back, rather than it being like fucking all romantic and stuff. You end up having a conversation in a fucking alleyway next to two tramps fucking.
Wow.
Yeah. That's like the premise, and there's like little punchlines and stuff in between.
Bloody hell.
But it's half of it's real, half of it's not. But it's strange. Like I think relationships just in general are like a source of like all great art, isn't it?
Love, the stuff that comes out, just the concept of love, man. Beautiful thing.
Is heartbreak an inspiration?
Yeah, heartbreak, definitely. It's heartbreak. Heartbreak all across the board, you know, in every sense of relationship, romantic, family, friends wise, you know.
Yeah. It's across the board, isn't it? Like
it really is. Like music has been the most beautiful journey, but it's been, I was saying this earlier, it's also been a very ugly journey at the same time, kind of thing, because it's like all your, for me anyway, or I'm pretty sure every creative can relate to this. It's like the further you go, because you're expressing yourself, and to some extent there is like, you know, affirmation and validation. Then you don't need that, but your subconscious, and I say I'm speaking figuratively, your subconscious kind of almost asks for that as well, kind of thing. And when you don't receive that, it's how do you reconcile it? Okay, cool, go back to the drawing board, kind of thing. And I got so passionate I lost myself. So please interject.
Hey, look, generally, I think one of the things that we wanted to do, obviously, with this platform is just have people come on and just talk about the stuff that they're passionate about. So it's like you would think that you'd lost your point, but it's just like expressing that point of view. I think just in general, it's important, isn't it? Like the fact that you can, even just the fact that you like stopped and were like, I just got so passionate about it. Like, nah, like life, I think in general is so removed of passion. Like when I think about like not even just my day job, just I think everybody's life. What's life? You wake up Monday to Friday, you go to work, you sit there for 8 hours, you work towards something that really you don't really care about. Because if you were to win, I call it the 100 million test.
Right.
You get given £100 million. What are you doing the next day?
Right.
And most people, nobody I've come across has said I'd still be working. It's like everybody's like, oh, either I'd travel or like
that's a good one,
charity or whatever. And I'm like, well, why are you doing that now? Like if I got £100 million, I would still be pursuing either comedy, podcasting, something. They're still trying to create or whatever. I'm sure if you had 100 million, what would you be doing?
Oh, that's going straight to marketing and PR, mate. You know what I mean? And the album. Yeah. So
you're doing what you would do if money wasn't an object. If money weren't a thing.
Money weren't a thing. I see what you did there.
Yeah. That's another song. That's another song. But so I think it's important to have a passion. I see people so I used to weightlift a lot, of box for a bit. It was the same with those two things. It was like it was important to me to have something outside of sitting at a desk for 8 hours to look forward to be, you know, fully committed to.
Right.
And it's like, I think everybody needs that.
Could I ask, you, so you said boxing and what else?
Weightlifting.
And weightlifting. So comedy kind of just soared, right? To the first
Yeah.
place.
So comedy became like, you looked at my physique and were like, there's no way this
Nah,
guy's
not
a
even.
boxer already.
He tried it. I didn't think that at all.
He's like, I'm counting more rolls than fists.
Wow. I see why you're a
I
comedian.
like
I
that.
see.
No, so to me it became like a thing of where I wouldn't say I fell out of love with it. I stopped boxing for just reasons because I wasn't enjoying it as much,
Fair.
but also I just stopped because I guess I didn't have like a lot of passion left for it. I still watch it, love it, but like it is difficult. It's like difficult to the point where it's just like I didn't want to get punched anymore, or like, and I got to.
That's a fair reason to stop. You know what I'm saying?
And I got to a point where it was like, okay, either you start getting punched even more and actually try and like do something with it, so you really properly try and commit to it, or stop. And I was kind of like, yeah, I'll stop. Then I got into weightlifting, which was nice. Again, time consuming, but a bit boring. Similar thing happened. I ended up falling out of love with it a little bit.
Right.
That and I like food, man. I'm big into food, right?
I think everyone in the room is a fan of that. We was talking about it earlier still.
So comedy for me, it was just like it was something that I'd always thought about since being like I think I've said this story before, but it's like I was 12 or 13 when YouTube was first coming a thing.
Right.
Got my first laptop and then I watched like a Dave Chappelle bit. It was a Sesame Street bit out of Killing Them Softly. I was like, fucking hell, this is amazing. Flirted with comedy a little bit, as in just going like my wedding present to my sister was Jimmy Carr tickets.
Wow.
Yeah, so me, a friend, and them two. So my brother-in-law, and my sister went to go see Jimmy Carr, and I was 16 at the time. Thought it was amazing. Started going to comedy clubs at uni. People started telling me I was funny, and I was like, "Oh, right, fam, that me, yeah, okay, in that, yeah." So then I just bit the bullet. Had a disastrous show. And then 4 years later, came back to it. Nearly 2 years ago now.
Wicked.
And it was just one of those things where it made sense. Because it's like I was hating fucking life. Like not to the point where I was depressed or anything. It was just like I'd think about it and I had these conversations with my friends like, this can't be fucking it. Like we can't just finish uni and now work. Like you can't just sit at a desk and like pretend you care and then actually start caring. Like I look at a lot of people around me. I'm like, I wouldn't trade like your careers or your money or whatever for even this like briefest, like a 1 in 3 billion chance I'll make it as a comedian. I wouldn't trade that hope for like double the salary.
Right.
You know, so it's just one of those things. I think everybody has to have a passion.
Yeah.
See, now I've got lost in the fucking.
No, but it's, like you said, innit, it's brilliant. Like the passion, you just speak your heart in that sense. But you sorry, I don't mean to make this like
roles
me
are reversed,
a
innit? I
little
like
bit,
it. No,
but
it's
you were
a
saying like
conversation.
you crashed. Did you say in uni you had a show that you crashed? So the 2 years, was that like the reinvention, the rebirth?
But 3.5 years, I think it was, from that show to
Okay.
no, 4.5 actually. 4.5 years. So it was just like I just didn't want to do it. I thought it was an awful experience. Thought it was ironically thought it was a joke, me even pursuing it.
Wow.
And then it just became a thing where I was working at my day job at the time. Shout outs to Swindon. Fuck you. No, I'm joking.
Oh, wow.
I used to work in Swindon, right?
I don't want no smoke. You see beef. So then
No,
you're okay.
It was the right place to work, and I used to work. Oh man, I don't want to like bitch about people, but again, I used to.
Oh, as in not the place. It's a work.
No, Swindon's a town, but I don't want to say
right.
this specific
I'll
place
say
I
no
used to
more.
work at.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So where I used to work there, the people there were nice. I got on with everybody. Everything was fine. All it was again, it was just like, I was like, wow, this is going to be you guys for the next like 30, 40 years. And I started like getting in my own head where I was just so like down in the dumps. And then I was like, okay, what would I do if I won 100 million? So that 100 million test has been really fucking important. I was like, I'd probably try and make it as a comedian. And I was like, well, what the fuck aren't I doing that now? So just got into it. And it is difficult, like you said, it's ups and downs, but boy, is it important.
Yeah.
It is fucking important.
Process is important.
Yeah.
therefore, yeah.
What's been like, if you had to pick like one professional music highlight, what would it be? Like, what's the one like instance? That's right. What's like the one instance that was?
I wouldn't know, man. It was when so Money Ain't a Thing. So my first tape was the iPod EP, hashtag iPod EP, and then my first single was Money Ain't a Thing, and it was just mad. Like, so Bobby Friction said he made it track of the week. These times I just thought I was getting spun on the radio. Sorry, I need to big up somebody else. Els Fresh, the Lion, and Sing Street Style. Shout out to those two brothers because they actually put me in touch with Bobby Friction and Sonny and Shay. So God bless them times 10.
All of those people are invited to the podcast.
For real. Well, I'm saying for real, like I have to say.
Yeah, you're just like they're on.
I'm just a hype man. What was I saying? Yeah, Money Ain't a Thing.
Yeah.
Track of the week. That was definitely a highlight because like the yard line was just ringing off, and then my mom was like, yeah, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. And my pops was standing like, wow, that's you, son. I was like, yeah, that's me, dad. It was mad. Like my sister, I remember the whole process. My sister was driving, and she's like, go on to the radio now, all this kind of stuff. Like, and it was just nice to see not only the excitement in me, but across the board in my family. And they are very supportive, but it was just nice for them to see like a pretty side of the thing as opposed to the ugly side kind of thing. So that was good. Another highlight was performing in Manchester. Me and my friend Feedem, shout out Feedem, that's one of my right-hand men. And I had the amazing game plan of sleeping in the train station to cut costs because we, it's just a mad story. But anyway, we get to Manchester now. I think it's Macclesfield, and the train station was closed, so we couldn't sleep inside the station, which was my idea. So it's like, all right, cool. We're gonna just find a bit of plot, a bit of land to find. Went onto Google Maps, and there was a bit of green. There was a little bit of green, and everything else was like grey, right? Thought, okay, cool. Let's go find the green. Boom. But that sounded like something completely else. Let's go find the grass on the floor coming out again.
Grass.
Yeah. Well, so we was trying to find that, and it was. I swear to you, it was a patch maybe a quarter the size of this table. I thought, oh mate, what are we gonna do? So I found a bus stop. Said, let's just sleep here, man. So I tried to sleep, but I know he couldn't sleep. And thank God he couldn't sleep because he found an abandoned car park that we got into, but part of some flats. So we rolled up the shutters and then rolled down the shutters, and then we just went to sleep in this car park. And then the maintenance man came in the morning at like 6 a.m., rolled up the shutters. He must have thought we were some druggies or druggists, as my dad says. And he's like, yo, you don't gotta go, man. But I would say that was a highlight because, yeah, man, like get it by any means.
That's a story and a half, man.
Yeah.
You slept in a car park for your art. That is commitment.
It was even mad. So, that the Ariana Grande concert where there was a explosion. Rest in peace to all the people that lost their lives. It was the day after that, so I know tensions were high and stuff like that. And I think them times I had a big beard as well. So I was thinking, bloody hell, man, I'm not trying. And I was carrying a suitcase. So I was like, I'm not trying to I get caught up in a madness right now. And you just hear a bunch of drunk people, going about. So I was actually shook, But yeah, thank God, man. God is merciful, man.
That's a story and a half, man. I'm telling you. I once slept on. I actually recounted in the recording this morning, but I slept in the train station once.
Bloody hell. What's your story?
Oh, I was trying to get some pussy.
Bloody hell. So you slept in the station?
I blew out on a Tinder date that I'd invited to a gig.
Right.
I was so confident that I was going to stay at hers.
Cool.
Yeah, life humbled me hard.
Imagine.
I ended up spending a few hours at Paddington train station waiting for my first train home.
So hold on. So you've done the gig, and now you're with baby
So
girl.
the gig went really fucking bad.
Oh my God.
And I'm not sure what the release schedule is going to be like, but you can catch it on the podcast with Raj.
Sweet.
But basically, I was so confident. I was so confident that I was going to stay around hers. But I did so bad at the gig. She was just not having any of it. And it was a second date as well. So I was just like, But I did that bad that she went from it like secured to well, let's just be friends.
Mad thing.
Yeah,
Wow.
and then I was like, yeah, nah, it's fine with that. Like, yeah, we could just do that, knowing I'd miss my train home. Yep, yeah. So I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain. At least you didn't get any rejection. All you had the chance was to get your head kicked in by some racists.
Yeah. You know.
I had my ego bruised. So,
Yeah.
you
Wow.
know.
One is getting beat up mentally, one is physically.
Yeah. I'm not sure which one's worse. But it like that. Those are the kind of things that I think people forget. That like you do have to commit. When was the time that you were like, okay, cool, I can commit to this? Like, was it always like that, or was there like a moment where you were just like, nah, we need to do this properly?
So like I genuinely believe I heard the voice of God say like, quit your job and do music. This was going back like 4 years ago, and I was literally chatting to God. I was like, bruv, like nobody knows who I am. I ain't even got a tape out. I ain't got a single out. But nonetheless, I did it, and it was just a matter of faith, man. You know what I mean? And where I have my faith, where I put my faith and my trust in, because like literally the day I quit, shout out to the food. I'm gonna be shouting out so many people.
Hey, it's your podcast, man.
The food audio, Calvin. That's my brother. That's my dude, man. That's my dude. All the way out in Houston. The day I quit my job, he shouted me on Instagram saying, "Yo, man, I like your stuff, bro. Blah blah blah. Look, how can we get working together?" Long story short, from there, I didn't know it at the time, but I have an engineer, a producer, just a flipping audio doctor, scientist on board with me to date. You know, he's mixed and mastered all my joints. You know what I mean? He's produced. So there's so much stuff. So that happens. So like there's like little, can't even call them little. There's massive affirmers along the way. So after that, I was telling you about Monkstar. You know what I mean? From New York Generals. I'm in his studio cooking up stuff with him, and then from there, I just keep meeting good people along the way. You know, so it's kind of like just when you're on running out of momentum. Shout out to Charles, my guitarist as well from Maryland Station. I've called that guy so many times in the early days. We was actually talking about it yesterday. I've called him so many times saying, bro, like, I'm tired. Not that I'm tired, but like, they don't like my music, man, or they ain't give me the time of day, or all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, bro, we haven't got time to talk about this. Let it out, but keep going, kind of thing. So I'm just, you know, it's meeting the right people along the way. I always meet the right person at the right time, and that's just been my story so far. And I hope that it continues that way, man.
Well, clearly you try and manifest that as well. Like you try and be that for people, as is the case now here. But how important is it to have people around you that like that get you and understand that this is a bad patch?
Very, because we are our own worst enemy sometimes. So you could actually talk yourself into a place. The same way you talked yourself into a place to do boxing and weightlifting, and then you also talked yourself in, okay, you know what, I'm going to deprioritize this, and comedy is going to get the utmost attention. And that worked out very well for you, and it will continue to do so. You know, I hope your expectations are smashed. You go
Thanks,
well
man.
beyond your desires, you know, and the same for me, everyone in this room, in fact.
Yeah.
But we talked ourselves into those spaces, right? But we can also talk ourselves in the space. Like, I'm not leaving my house. I ain't gonna work today. You know, and the spirals do just down. So it is good to have an external voice, kind of, you know, tell you like, bro, what are you talking about, kind of thing. Or okay, I understand why you feel like that. Let's just take a minute. Yesterday I was talking to my friend Charles again, and I was venting about a whole lot of stuff, but I genuinely felt lighter at the end of the convo. And I'm not one of those like, oh, hey, bro, yeah, we just need to talk. I'm not one of those guys like yourself. You were saying earlier, you know, about the breakup, we need to talk about it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I was just talking to him yesterday, and I felt lighter by the end of it, you know, and I'm glad I had that. So it's very important to have the right people around you.
100%, and professionally and like personally as well, I guess, isn't it? But it's like, so you got a lot of tattoos as well. That was something that you mentioned that was another passion. So what's the story behind the tats?
Just love them, man. But you know what? My mum hates them, right? But my mum, she won't agree to this, but she started it. She actually started off my love for tats, right? So I was like, yo, mum, thinking of getting a tat. You know, I was like 16. And then she was like, all right. You could tell she wasn't on it from the jump, but
Yeah.
she was like, all right, give it, let's come back to this. We'll talk about it in a little while. Da-da-da-da-da. My mum doesn't sound like that either, but, and I was like, okay, cool. A week later, she said she saw so-and-so auntie in Iceland, and that her son got her name on his arm. So she was, you already know where this is going now.
Yeah.
Typical like Indian mum, like, okay, I was thinking the tattoo ain't so bad, if you want to get my name, kind of thing. I was like, okay, cool. So I got her initials with my pops' initials, and then from there I literally like a kid with a crayon, man. Just got so many different.
I mean, I feel like you really commit to music when you got face tattoos. That's
yeah.
what I can say.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys on the camera can see, but you've got tattoos on your cheeks. Like, I feel like that's commitment. Oh man, I could never do that.
Because for me though, like I don't see a future without music. I don't.
That's mad.
And I think God has given me something worth shouting about and worth sharing with the world. And I think it looks cool, so let's just join the two and go that way, kind of thing.
I'm with it, man. That is like, you're demonstrating your commitment. You're just like, this is me, and like, you can manifest that. Like, come on, you can't go into fucking business meetings and be like, yeah, guys, we're gonna do this, that, and that.
If I had enough money, man, because people like money, period,
Yeah.
But right now I don't have that much, so. But I get what you're saying, though. Yeah, there is certain, because we judge and stereotype people immediately, isn't it?
100%.
I do get it, but it works for where I'm trying to. Which is what like. You think this was bad, right? This was actually like the worst thing I could have done to my parents, because like, bruv, this like it's just like me and this thing. We can't be in the same house. That's what my pop says. Old something like that kind of thing. Like, but yeah, it's all right. Like I say to my parents, like, look, this works for me in the field that I'm trying to go to.
Yeah.
It's part of the style, it's part of the swag, all of that. So yeah, I think that, yeah, to be honest, they're never gonna like it, but I think they understand that this is the kind of thing.
This is your path.
Yeah.
This is your path.
My sister loves it though. My sister loves it. She's got piercings and tats all over as well. So yeah.
It's cool, man. It's cool. I think that's all we had to talk about. Do you have any other points? Any other plugs? We're keen, man. We're keen to support your work. That's what we're on about. Where can people find you?
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Londis. No, I'm joking. You can't find me in Londis. But like the old shebang, man. Hashtag the Colindale Tape. If you can post that anywhere on your social media, everyone in this room as well. If you can put that anywhere, I'd appreciate it. But January 16th is when the full tape lands, and yeah, man, share it. Show your mom, your dog, your cat, your fish, your dad, everyone. Show everyone.
Everybody that has viewing capabilities.
Yes,
get
please.
Out there, man.
Yes, please.
I'll be on point. Well, Inderpaul Sandhu, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me, man.
Awesome.
Thank you.